Welcome to your hot cocoa bomb kit. This is one of my absolute favorites. It's so delicious, so easy, and so much fun. To make all 8 cocoa bombs, start with bag number 1. Grab a microwave safe bowl and go ahead and pour in those chocolate chips. Also, as a great tip, because these are brand new, make sure that you open this little seal here just with a little knife. Use your brush to take some chocolate and paint that first layer of the cocoa bomb.
As you're painting your first layer of chocolate, make sure that you really get into all of the edges and the corners. We want the mold to be completely covered in chocolate before going into the refrigerator for a couple minutes.
So the first layer, I'm almost done. You want to paint all along the bottom. Make sure to get really good in those
edges and corners. Once you're done, place your mold in the refrigerator for a couple minutes until it's set before applying your second coat.
My first layer is set in my molds. So I'm going to go ahead and brush on to apply my second layer. Make sure to remove the safety layer from your acrylic sticks before using them.
After you've applied your second layer, go ahead and insert your acrylic sticks and set your mold in the refrigerator for just a couple minutes to make sure that that second layer sets.
All right, we're ready to fill our cocoa bombs. Grab bag number 2, which has your cocoa mix. It's got hot cocoa mix with powdered sugar,
cocoa, and dehydrated marshmallows. So use a little spoon to help you spoon those out into each of the cavities. You can make 4 or 8, depending on how many you're making today. These also keep great in the fridge, so you could totally make all 8 now and keep them in the fridge all winter long.
And let's make our ganache with bag number
3. You can use heavy cream or whole milk. Go ahead and melt that down in the microwave in 20 seconds and load it into one of your piping bags.
It's time to pipe a little bit of ganache in our cocoa bombs, and then we will reheat our chocolate in order to seal them.
Cut a small hole into your piping bag. You can always make it bigger, but you can't make it smaller. So make a small hole at the very tip and go ahead and pipe a thin layer of ganache onto every cavity for your hot cocoa bombs. This is going to add some nice creaminess and chocolatiness to our hot chocolates. So you just want to stay on top of the cocoa powder and just pipe a thin layer, just as I'm doing. Once you're done piping the ganache, set your mold in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes for the ganache to set.
Reheat your chocolate so it's nice and melted to go ahead and seal your hot cocoa bombs and load it into your second piping bag. Use your hands to push the chocolate to the bottom of the piping bag just so that it's easier for you to handle. Once your ganache has set and you can touch it and it doesn't stick to your fingers, go ahead and grab your piping bag. Make a small hole at the very
tip of your piping bag. Again, we can always cut it bigger, but we can't go back and cut it smaller. Next, you're going to go ahead and pipe a small amount of chocolate that's going to act as a seal on top of every hot cocoa bomb. That's why it's important for your ganache to be set before we're doing this final step. As you're piping, make sure to get into those edges. We want to have a really nice seal on these cocoa bombs to keep all of that goodness on the inside. So get into the corners, get into the edges, and make sure it's nice and even.
Here's a pro tip. Use the tip of your piping bag here to push the chocolate all the way against the edges so that you're sure that everything is properly sealed.
Place your mold in the refrigerator for several hours until it's completely set.
Cocoa bombs are completely set. So
I'm going to start unmolding them gently by pulling the mold away from them just to loosen them up. And then I'm going to use one hand to push them out while I unmold them. I'm so excited to see these. I've been wanting to do this kit with you guys for over a year. This is probably one of my absolute favorites. Look how gorgeous these look. I can't even believe it. Don't worry, I'll show you a trick to fix any imperfections. But go ahead and just unmold all of them, and you can keep them all in the refrigerator for a couple months to have hot chocolate on hand all winter long.
If you see any little imperfections, go ahead and just kind of gently remove that.
Heat up some milk, bring it to a boil, and pour it into your favorite mug. And then just have fun swirling these around until they melt and make the most decadent and delicious hot chocolate. Have fun swirling it around, or just let it sit and it will melt all by itself. It melts a lot faster if you bring your milk to a boil. Feel free to add in some big marshmallows or anything else you want to make this the perfect hot chocolate, but I guarantee you it tastes amazing. It is super decadent, super chocolatey, and really one of the best hot chocolates I think you'll ever have.